John, Rachel, and Ben had been planning their camping trip for weeks. They were excited to spend a few days in the great outdoors, exploring the dense forest and enjoying the peace and solitude of nature. As they set up camp for the first night, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. They heard strange noises coming from the trees around them and saw shadows moving in the corners of their eyes. But they tried to brush it off as just their imagination, focusing on building a fire and cooking dinner. As the sun set and the darkness closed in around them, the strange noises became louder and more intense. Suddenly, a branch snapped and something large and shadowy emerged from the trees. The group froze in fear as the shadowy figure approached them. It was a tall, thin man with a twisted, gnarled face and dark, sunken eyes. He was dressed in tattered clothes, and seemed to be covered in dirt and leaves. "Who are you?" John asked, trying to stay calm. The man cackled maniacally and answered in a raspy, guttural voice, "I am the keeper of the forest, and you have trespassed on my land. You must leave or face the consequences." John, Rachel, and Ben quickly gathered their things and tried to make a run for it, but the man was faster. He chased them through the forest, his laughter echoing through the trees. As they ran, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin. Desperate for shelter, they ran inside and barricaded the door. But they soon realized that they were not alone in the cabin. There were strange noises coming from the corners and the floorboards seemed to creak under an unseen weight. The group huddled together, trying to come up with a plan. They knew they couldn't stay in the cabin forever, but they also knew that the twisted man was waiting for them outside. Suddenly, they heard a loud knock on the door. The twisted man's voice boomed from outside, "I know you're in there. Come out and face your punishment." John, Rachel, and Ben knew they had to make a move. They decided to split up and try to find a way out of the forest. John went one way, Rachel and Ben went another. John found himself lost in the dense underbrush, with no sign of the twisted man or his friends. He was starting to lose hope when he heard a faint voice calling his name. It was Rachel, and she had found a way out of the forest. The group reunited and ran as fast as they could through the trees, not looking back until they saw the light of civilization in the distance. They collapsed on the ground, panting and covered in sweat. As they caught their breath, they realized that they had never left the cursed forest. The twisted man had been following them all along, leading them in circles until they were lost and disoriented. They were trapped in the cursed forest, doomed to wander its dark paths forever. But they were not alone in their curse. As they explored the forest, they discovered that there were others like them, trapped in the twisted man's realm. Some had been there for decades, while others had just arrived. Together, they formed a community of Out.